Hello and welcome to a new episode on Sadhana World Foundation. We are talking about our day-to-day lives which have got some moral teachings, moral values embedded in these daily experiences. Recently, I was in a park which has got a monument. I looked around, I was impressed with that environment and the monument itself. I looked around to talk to somebody. I found a security guard which was in charge of that particular place. I started chatting with that gentleman, and he was, of course, very nice to me. He was trying to explain me about that monument. I was very impressed about that environment, and I inquired with the security guard if some people use that particular place for holding some of their private events, like some corporates coming and doing a kind of an event there or a function, or maybe some people use it for celebrations privately and so on. The gentleman said that actually the park has got that kind of a provision. We can go to that officer who is in charge of that, and we can apply for a private reservation and we will get it. So I was inquiring a little more how frequently this happens, and the security guard surprisingly got into talking a lot about that park's history and how beautiful such events could happen and what such events could hold for a lifetime of a person if such opportunities come on one's life. I was wondering why this gentleman is telling me all of this. So I kept insisting to find out that how frequently this place is being used for private events. Then finally the security gentleman tells me that it's not actually privately being used too much. He was asking me if I am looking for one such reservation and if he can give me the number of the gentleman who I should talk to. Then I explained that I was just a visitor to that particular city and I have no such connections, no such intentions. However, that set me thinking that why the security gentleman is so very intrigued, so very interested in doing this. So I asked him. He said that everything starts from a drop of water. An ocean or a lake is formed out of drops of water. I thought that was a very deep comment coming from someone like him. So that set me thinking about people like all of us, you and me, that how we behave in our day-to-day lives. What motivates us to perform better? What motivates us to go beyond the call of duty? What motivates us to walk that extra mile? Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it great if all of us, everyone around us, really feels so very motivated intrinsically from within to do more, to do things that are assigned to us in a better way, in a more meaningful way? Life will be great, isn't it? For us as individuals and for our society, for our nation, for our world, this place will be so much more purposeful, so much more meaningful. So I thought a little deeper about it. I could understand, or I could think that there are two ways in which people feel motivated. One is intrinsic motivation. From within we feel a push to fulfill our own desire or our own ambition, our own goals, our own need of achieving that goal. That is the intrinsic motivation. And extrinsically, we are all motivated when there is a reward, or there is a fear of a punishment, or there is a social recognition which is awaiting us. In this particular case, the security gentleman didn't have any such extrinsic motivation. That was intense for me. Then I went thinking about our young children and adults who are in their schools and colleges. Do we really teach them to become intrinsically motivated in the tasks or in the activities that they choose for themselves? Possibly not. But in our mythological texts, in our historical evidences, there are so many instances where we are told that we must be pure in our mind, We should be committed to the task that we have chosen for ourselves. We must be committed to excel in it. That's it's called purity of mind or sattva sansudhi. And the second aspect we are all told about jnana yoga vyavasthiti, which means that remaining focused and steadfast in the path of knowledge. If we all stay committed to the path of knowledge, we will always think of doing better. We will strive for perfection. We could be an electrician or a doctor. We could be a teacher or an engineer. It doesn't matter. There are ways of doing the same job in a better way. There are ways in which that the same responsibilities can be fulfilled in a lot more meaningful way, which enriches, which satisfies, which fulfills our own lives, as well as it makes the life or lives around us much more happy, much more fulfilled, much more complete. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to this and thinking about those two things, which is Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti, which means staying steadfast on one's path of knowledge. And secondly, it's about Sattva Sansudhi, which means purity of mind. If all of us value these two aspects in our lives, we all will become so much more committed, so much more fulfilled as people. I look forward to our future conversations. Thank you very much.